I spent 2 years working at a Mercedes repair shop, and trust me, I've seen some things. Some good, some bad, and some so bizarre you'd swear the car had a personality. Today I'm telling you the 10 biggest things I learned about Mercedes owners, Mercedes engineering, and Mercedes problems nobody talks about. If you've ever thought about buying a Benz, especially a used one, you need to hear this. When I first started at the shop, I expected luxury, elegance, engineering perfection. And yes, Mercedes gives you that. But behind the scenes, when these cars roll into a service bay on a tow truck at 7 in the morning, you see the real Mercedes. You see how they age. You see what breaks. You see what never dies. And you definitely see what the owners hide from the Carfax. 1. The electronics are the real boss. If there's one thing you learn fast in a Benz shop, it's this. The car decides whether it wants to work that day. Mercedes electronics are next-level dozens of modules talking to each other non-stop. But when one module freaks out, boom, the whole car starts acting possessed. Dead screens, random warning lights, seats that stop adjusting, windows with their own free will. I'm telling you, some days the most expensive tool in the shop was the reset button. 2. Ride quality? Absolutely insane, until the suspension goes. Mercedes builds some of the smoothest riding cars on the planet, but that magic doesn't come for free. Airmatic, ABC, multi-link suspension, it all works beautifully until that one air strut decides it's done with life. And when it does, your Mercedes suddenly turns into slam stance nation build you never asked for. 3. Engines? When maintained, nearly bulletproof. Here's the shocking part. Most Mercedes engines themselves are tanks. We'd get cars with 200, 300,000 miles still running smooth. And you know what they all had in common? Regular oil changes, correct oil, correct intervals. Mercedes engines aren't fragile. Owners' maintenance habits are. 4. Transmissions love to remind you they're expensive. Mercedes automatics shift like butter when they're healthy, but once they start slipping, you're basically negotiating with a very expensive landlord. And guess what? Rent is due right now. 5. Old Mercedes are simpler. New Mercedes are smarter than you. The older models, W124, W140, early 2000s, stuff simple, honest engineering. Built like they expected the cars to outlive the owners. The modern ones, turbo everything. Digital dashboards, sensors for sensors, beautiful tech until the tech goes bad. Great cars, but they're not the forever machines your dad remembers. 6. Interior quality? Still top tier. Even on worn-out older Benzes, the interior would surprise me. Soft touch materials, heavy switches, solid buttons. It just feels expensive. You sit inside and instantly get why people keep buying these cars. 7. The cooling system is the silent troublemaker. Coolant leaks, failing pumps, plastic fittings turning brittle. Not catastrophic, but incredibly common. On a hot day, you could practically smell which Mercedes was about to overheat. 8. Some parts are cheap. Some parts are, call your bank expensive. People think Mercedes parts are always crazy expensive. Not true. Brake pads? Normal. Filters? Normal. Random trim clips? Cheap. But then, you need one weird hydraulic line or one electronic module and suddenly, do you want the good news or bad news? Good news. The part is available. Bad news. So is bankruptcy. 9. Most Mercedes problems come from previous owners, not the car. This is a big one. 90% of the nightmare cars we saw had one thing in common: bad previous owners. Skip services, cheap fluids, random shops with no idea how to work on a Mercedes. People treating a luxury car like a Honda. The car isn't unreliable. The history is. 10. A well-maintained Mercedes is still one of the best-feeling cars to drive, and this is why people keep buying them. When everything works, even an old E-Class feels incredibly solid. The steering has weight, the ride is smooth, the cabin is quiet. It feels premium. No matter what problems you see in the shop, the drive always reminds you why people fall in love with these cars. So after 2 years of working on these cars, here's my final take. A Mercedes isn't just a car, it's a relationship. If you take care of it, it rewards you with comfort, style, and that feeling you just don't get in anything else. If you neglect it, well, you'll get to know your mechanic pretty well. If you want a video where I break down which Mercedes models you should absolutely buy and which ones you should avoid at all costs, let me know in the comments, and subscribe because I've got stories from the shop you wouldn't believe.